Hey everybody, welcome to Under the Radar MMA. I'm Jay Yoder, calling out of Lindsay, California, with their co-host, Cesar Gracie Black Belt, Juan Nunez, calling out of Caracas, Venezuela. What's going on, Juan? How you doing?
Busy, man. Busy with working some extra hours, making sure having some extra time afterwards.
Nice.
How's everything in Lindsay?
Everything's good. I've been busy myself too, man. Got a packed day today, and it's been an interesting week. But anyways, let's get to it. This is episode 9. We're going to talk about first Usman and the possibility of the great GSP coming back and having a match, Usman versus GSP, and the thoughts around that. We're going to then move on to Covington thoughts on a Diaz fight. Then we're going to move into Move of the Week with Clarissa Shields, actually a little wrestling breakdown from Juan. And then we're going to jump into Machida versus Bader, number 2. Then we're going to move on to Charles Oliveira, thoughts on a Diaz call-out. And then we're going to end it with Rodolfo Vieira and his recent submission loss. First, let's jump into Usman versus GSP. What's your thoughts around that, Juan? What do you think?
I didn't get the first part. I understand GSP, George St. Pierre, he is all about he's deeply about spirituality. He brings along the concentration, the mental discipline, the knowledge, the precision for a little bit. So we're living it plays a marketing mindset. What it means, create a different avenue. We were talking about what happened with a simple basics in a mixed martial art. First class, understand where the basics, right 45, left 45, work with those. Welterweight division is going to play out somehow. We have to, unfortunately, see what the matchmaking situation is going to play along.
Yeah, in Usman, defeating Gilbert Burns, which we could even chat it up about that great fight. But during the post-fight press conference, they asked him, about GSP, and he said he's always interested in GSP, and he sees him training, sees what he's doing. But when it came to GSP, his comments were like, he's not really motivated to come out of retirement to fight Usman. He just says for whatever reason, he's not sure if he ever wants to come back, and that he will always train to stay in shape and probably all till the day he dies, he says. So, that being said, Usman then has focused really hard on Masvidal, calling out Masvidal in the same press conference and wanting that rematch with Masvidal. They really got aggression towards each other. And so, personally, if let's look at GSP first. He has 9 title defenses. He's 26 wins with 2 losses. Kamaru Usman has 5 title fight defenses after Gilbert Burns, 18 with 1 loss, a loss years ago. It's not even on the UFC record. So Khabib, if he does want to come back, I don't know why they don't mention Khabib versus Usman. I know Khabib's retired, but if they're going to mention GSP, why don't they mention Khabib? They mention Khabib and GSP, but he has 4 title defenses, but 29 undefeated record, which is great. But in my personal opinion, I think there's another guy that should get the next title fight. I'm okay with George Masvidal, but I think I'd like to see Colby Covington fight Kamaru Usman if Usman doesn't get a GSP fight, which it doesn't sound like he's going to. I would rather see that than maybe Masvidal after, or maybe even Leon Edwards. But I think Colby Covington, after finishing Woodley, he's the number 1 ranked guy. Him and Usman put on a great fight, which was finished by Usman in the 5th round. So I'm thinking, why not Colby Covington? And if Usman doesn't want that, why not Colby versus Masvidal? Colby's been calling for that fight if he can't get the title fight. So, I say Colby next for the title. If he doesn't get the title, let Masvidal and him fight out. Maybe Leon Edwards can get a shot, or let Usman do what he wants. But what are your thoughts on those matchups, Juan?
There is going to be a meeting. They're going to set up a meeting, and it's going to be a conversation about the middleweight division, since Israel Adesanya is moving up to compete at light heavyweight. it could be a different avenue play out somehow. Um, Kamaru Usman competing against a middleweight. Um, Different challenge. Um, it could be a really bad losing payday. I understand. Um, why is a management team is a perfect move.
Who do you
Talking about he plays a marketing mindset.
Yeah, this is kind of, this. I have a question for you later down the road, but let's just get to it. It is really like, are you focused on the title, or are you focused on fights that interest you? This kind of plays to all the subjects we have going on, the Diaz, the Charles Oliveira thing. What is it? Is it a personal fighter goal? But sometimes for money and marketing, going the title route's not always the thing. So if Usman jumps class, we got John Jones is a heavyweight now. There's just Sonya jumped weight class. He's middleweight now. There's talks of GSP coming out of retirement. Always talks of Khabib. It's kind of hard to really focus on the titles. And you got guys like Charles Oliveira who's like, no, I want a title shot. I don't want to fight Nate Diaz. It's crazy, but who would Usman fight if he goes to 185? Like Robert Whittaker maybe, or Paul Costa? What are your thoughts?
In all fairness, those two matchups play out differently. And I believe those two are different challenge because of the weight, the size matter when we talk about a championship business. I understand it needs to get some sweeping. Talking about be perfect on technique. Understand heavier guys. The precision of setting up from the ball of your feet a right cross with a lot of technique and setting up your defense under chin tucked, and then utilizing your forearms, set up all kind of combination. Mandatory.
All right. So what do you think though? Who do you think Usman should fight next? What do you think?
We need to. Trust me on that. It's better if we see different welterweight match. All that aside, could be a Wonderboy Thompson, Stephen Thompson, great sidekicks. He walked away with a great performance against Vicente Luque, and he is always tough. He's tough, great kicks, different style. He definitely deserves the chance to get ready for a really bad fight against a tough contender.
Yeah, Stephen Thompson's ranked number 5 in the welterweight division, and then you got number 4 Jorge Masvidal, who's lost to Usman. Yeah, number 3 Leon Edwards. Leon Edwards just signed a fight. I forget who. Do you know who that is? I just saw that recently.
There is some miscommunication issues between the UFC management and Leon Edwards management.
So nothing's official.
Sadly, we also have to stay in the sidelines and see how the hell are we gonna rate the news,
Yeah. Well, then you got number 3 Leon Edwards, and number 2 is Gilbert Burns, who just lost to Usman. Then number 1 is Colby Covington, who has lost to Usman as well, and then Usman's champ. Gilbert Burns called out Colby Covington after his loss to Usman. So if Usman wants to fight Masvidal, Colby and Gilbert get it on, and then I think that's fine. The welterweight, Usman's being so dominant, it's kind of hard to see who's next because he's officially beat the top 4 besides Leon Edwards in his welterweight division and ranking. So I don't know. I don't know what's up for him. He's kind of big, too big to move to 155, I assume.
I haven't had the experience of being involved with the welterweight division. I never competed as a welterweight. However, I understand at UFC level, it is a every single athlete, every athlete that compete at the welterweight, trust me, they understand what it means to set up a statement, set up a staying away, and what it means to compete. Understanding the welterweight division, George Masvidal could fight against Colby Covington. It could be a very competitive bout. You understand the mandatory rest period is absolutely clear when we talk about mixed martial arts. Yeah, Covington could take him down. I believe he could take him down and just ground and pound. Yeah, it could happen. However, George Masvidal could have different moments setting up his kicks, multi kicks, which are, I believe, are top of the line. His boxing is great, but it's not a great boxer. Stay in the pocket, just straight punches, jab, cross, jab, and then set up hooks. He doesn't do the style, the boxing style. However, a good punch could always bring a different cut about the situation. That's the importance about see that with coaches, and the consistency of the evolution and what you need to be done and get a real feel of what you're doing,
Yeah, 100%. That's kind of why I was mentioning over Masvidal, Colby Covington getting the fight against Usman, because Masvidal, very exciting to watch. But and although he did go to a decision loss where Colby Covington actually got finished, but I think Colby Covington has that wrestling that's going to be very exciting, and that stamina and endurance that also Usman has. So I think that matchup for me is just more exciting to kind of see it go down again. And the first fight was so exciting. But there's a lot of close calls, but he did get finished. But I would like to see Colby get that fight. He's number one, get the rematch. Maybe because of Colby's character, he kind of acts like a jerk. It's kind of his game style. It's kind of a cheesy. But as far as fighting style, like I don't know why Usman wants Jorge over Colby. But maybe he thinks it's an easier fight, and I do think that's an easier fight for him. But who knows?
Absolutely, dude. We have to understand who is the better fighter in the division, and then start playing out from there.
Yeah. So what were your thoughts on the Gilbert Burns Woodley fight? I know we did the pre-fight breakdown, but let's do a little post-fight.
Talking about the recap of the fight, I can stay away with 12 different reasons why Usman ended up defending his belt. Gilbert stayed with a different stance, and he came across with an overhand. And setting all that aside, the jab was a difference.
Usman's jab?
Definitely. It reminds me Cassius Clay, when we were talking about last week, staying solid, ball of the feet, and boom.
Very fast jab, and I think that was what the Usman had. Very fast jab. Trevor Whitman, that we've mentioned before with Onyx Sports, redoing all the gloves we talked about. He was in Usman's corner, and they've been working on that jab hard. And apparently, according to Usman, who's very cocky at times, he says my jab is just as strong as it's almost like a right punch coming, like a strong punch.
He sold it. The jab was like not only fast, precise, and unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable strength.
Yeah, but you got to give it up to Gilbert Burns, man. Had Usman rocked, and maybe he got a little too excited. I don't know. I feel bad for the guy. Like I thought he was going to do it, and then that just shows Usman's character and what kind of fighter he is to get his bearings straight and then bring it into the deep waters and take him out. But I like Burns. I think Gilbert Burns is a great competitor. I hope he gets the rematch again.
You brought it. You brought it up. You nailed it. Actually, when you said it, little rock, that's all that happened. No one, never have I ever see someone doing that to the champ in a different fight.
Yeah, huge statement.
Set the boundaries and set up the difference. Hey,
Well, and then was it I think I'm blanking here. I was thinking, did Usman switched up his stance right after that first round? He came in with a different stance, so his strong arm was the jab, right? I believe that was what he did.
That's probably what it was. Switching, he switched from a right 45 stance, immediately went left 45.
Yeah, definitely went southpaw, from orthodox to southpaw, and I was watching my friends and I was so excited because I was like, well, his jab now is a strong arm, like in the second round. And I think that says a lot to the testament of Usman and what kind of champion he is, an athlete. He's just an athlete. He reminds me of like those Michael Jordan guys. I know he kind of compared himself, but it's like when something goes wrong in the first round, to see an adjustment, a fighter make an adjustment, I think to me that's championship level, because sometimes in the other lower cards, you don't see that as much. They stick to the same game plan. But to see Usman come in second, switching up the stance, it's brilliant. You know, he got rocked. He had to do something, and sometimes people just stick with the same stuff, and then ultimately leads to a loss. And I think that just shows a testament to Kamaru Usman, how awesome he is.
You are the same journeyman that you always have been. That's what the champion said to Masvidal right at the press conference. Yep. What do you make of that?
I didn't hear that part, but I saw a reporter ask him about that. And, because Gilbert Burns said that, right, to Usman. And I think, right, was that Gilbert Burns that said Usman? Or did you say Masvidal?
It was George.
George?
American top team, Masvidal.
Okay. George Jorge. I don't know if they call him different names. So I was like, GSP? Okay. Yeah, George Masvidal, Jorge Masvidal. He, I don't know. What does that mean? I have no idea. Juan, what's your thoughts?
And definitely, I understand the division needs some attention. The welterweight division needs some attention and bring a different challenge to the champ. It could be an avenue. Like I said, I would rather stay on the side and see probably MMA junkie could stay even Cherdog. They always write really interesting facts about it. Right, and then we come along with it, we come along with it for sure. No, not an issue. However, I would rather have a little more on the table, and that way we could elaborate on that,
Yeah, but so what do you think that quote meant, that you're still the same man?
What do you mean?
The quote that Jorge Masvidal said, "You're the same man you always were." What do you take?
I take full responsibility. What I was trying to say is the champion, Kamaru Usman, said, "You are the same journeyman that you always have been."
Okay. What does that mean?
He said that to George Masvidal. I was wondering, they leave each other alone. They are leaving each other alone. It's not like nothing personal. It's just business, a championship business. He plays a different avenue to set up a pay-per-view for sure.
Nice. Okay, well, that being said, let's move on to Colby Covington and his thoughts on the Diaz fight. What do you know about that one?
Definitely. Colby Covington came out recently I believe he was with Ariel Helwani, talking about his future in the mixed martial arts industry. Apparently, he was trying to set up some upcoming fights against George Masvidal and Kamaru Usman. He tried to get those two with him all the time. However, the Diaz question came differently. I was wondering, Ariel was trying to point it out, the boxing situation. between them. Let's see, Colby Covington and Nick Diaz, they trade punches. That was the how to put the feast on the question. And let him know, like, Nick could really place like different techniques, coming out with a right uppercut, left hook, those two, boom, off the shoulder bump, and set up different strategies. How to cut the corner, get inside. That small details that set up the difference in a mixed martial artist that has been doing it longer. Understand that people that was before you is a start. That's all.
Yeah, I think it's kind of weird. The reporters love to ask about Diaz because Diaz it's like kind of like McGregor Diaz are they're always fun personalities, so they always want to ask about those fights. And they asked him about Nate and Nick. It was kind of confusing for me when I was writing notes to like follow who are they asking about. And Colby Covington, like we just talked about, he wants Masvidal if he's not going to get the Usman shot. And he said as of Nate, he's not interested in Nate Diaz since he hasn't been active for years, just comes in every couple of years and fights. I think the Diaz brothers is a bad fight for people. Obviously, they're very talented in jiu-jitsu and boxing, endurance, and they have an experience, have so much experience that it's not a good. It's a hard fight to take on, a Diaz fight. It's like, and especially if they don't have the belt or championship, it's a huge losing situation. I think for like a Colby Covington or even Charles Oliveira. Big payday. It's like kind of like a huge payday probably, I assume. But then they asked him about Nick, and he said Colby Covington said, I would love to fight Nick because Nick is a high pressure volume fighter. He brings the pace, and those are the types of fighters he wants to fight. But he says he's focused on Masvidal and trying to get that title shot. So it's kind of like, I don't know if Nick's going to come back. It's hear rumblings of a 2021 comeback. Nick wants to come back, obviously, but he's very selective in who he wants to fight. I don't know. Where do the Diaz brothers sit? They just wait till someone's down to fight that they want? Kind of a hard situation.
Definitely. In all fairness, it plays a different avenue. For a couple minutes, we can see the play out differently. However, if they play with they stick in the pocket, they could try some combinations. That would be it would cut some attention. Especially they're trying to play the market with utilizing a sold out arena. Well, and it definitely would be a set up a new time, new generation of mixed martial arts marketing, something like that.
Yeah, it'd be great to see both of them have high endurance, Colby Covington and either of the Diaz brothers. They have high endurance. That'd be very exciting to watch. They're both high pressure. I do think that jiu-jitsu is going to be very tricky for Colby Covington, although he's a great wrestler and knows how to avoid that, and he's been working a lot on his jiu-jitsu recently. I just think he's not going to get a title. It's not going to bump him up in the ranking. So it's kind of a lose-lose situation, I feel, for like Colby, unless he's looking for that. Because if you do, the good thing about fighting a Diaz brother, your name's out there. You beat a Diaz, everyone's going to know about it. Everyone's going to be watching that fight. But, it seems like a scary fight for a lot of those guys to have to come out, and Diaz, just pops in, and then, I don't know. I think a lot of the people in the division are like, man, this could just be a lose-lose. If I beat him, my ranking's still the same. If I lose, then I'm almost over, and I'm just going to bump them up. But also, they're tough fighters. Like, who wants to fight them? It's probably really hard for them to get a fight. But let's just jump over the Lyoto Bader match. We'll come back to that. But moving on to Charles Oliveira, he got called out by Nate Diaz, and he turned it down. And what was his tweet? He said he tweeted out to Diaz, status, no interest, homie. Goal, lightweight belt. And Oliveira, he doesn't have a lot of light on him, name show. So some people are saying that's a mistake to give up this Diaz fight who could get a lot of eyes on him. What are your thoughts? Because Dustin Poirier said, hey, I'm interested. Maybe after the McGregor rematch, the third match, I'm pretty interested in a Diaz fight. Where Oliveira's like, no way.
Yeah, Charles Oliveira is in a different stage. He understands the difference. His mindset is in the lightweight division, and you can see the difference there. We have to see if Justin Gaethje Dustin Poirier, Michael Chandler are going to be in a small semifinals bracket that they could utilize someone else on the sidelines, playing along. It could be somewhere, somehow new lightweight, new generation bracket. Someone is gonna stay tuned. It could be from anywhere. Trust me. So somebody is gonna play. And the lightweight division is the most switching, the faster pace switching. A few years ago it was BJ Penn running through the lightweight division, and it was considered the greatest lightweight of all time. Then the conversation started about Khabib Nurmagomedov, how well dominated the sport and how perfect his professional record, stay real on the real deal. And
also Max Holloway, who was mentioned before Khabib.
Exactly. It's gonna play along the lightweights from a marketing standpoint. I believe it's gonna be the greatest category.
Yeah, I agree. It's jam packed, and there's so many fights to happen. The next year or two is going to be very fun. And then if Nate Diaz jumps in there, even funner, more exciting. But Charles Oliveira, I don't know. I have no idea, because it's hard. Because as a fighter at a certain level, you need to get experience and get ready. But as Charles, giving up a Diaz fight, Diaz doesn't call out a lot of people, and he's putting you in the category of Dustin Poirier. The guy who's basically the champ, although Khabib has the belt, but basically he's, in my eyes, the champ, even though he doesn't have the belt. But I don't know, man. Charles Oliveira, I think that could have been a good fight for him. But at the same time, like we were talking about earlier, lose. Maybe he doesn't want that right now. Maybe it's a little too early. Maybe needs to wait a year or two.
Yeah, a year from now, it would be smart. And then besides having a great practice, he could work along as well, play. When you and I talk about multi-checks, understand what it truly means. Multi always it could be the painful on the legs, on the chin, when you're kicking pads. Then you train for 2 weeks, and then you went through hell. You can kick and you have fun kicking. It makes you strong. You're everything. Your core and setting up the hips in the right place, playing light. However, just working what it truly you are doing. That's all. That's all. What is basic. It's a sport that I barely understand, and I've been doing it for 25 years.
Yeah, it's good. Once you start learning how to kick, at first it seems like riding a bicycle for the first time. It's so hard, and once you get the hang of it, you just want to kick everything. Because kind of off the subject, but I used to work at the shoe store when I first started training. I was 21, and I started learning Muay Thai elbows and kicks. And I was walking through the shoe store in the back. I had all the boxes of shoes I had to give to customers, and I remember just practicing boxes just because I was so addicted to it and young, and I loved it, and it's a new thing. Hell, today I'm still walking outside and I'll do a little fake kick on something, but I agree with you to that point. Sorry, I got off subject there. It reminded me of a little story, but yeah, Charles Oliveira, here's the thing though, maybe waits a year for that fight. Is that fight going to be there in a year? I don't know. A lot could happen, and we've seen Tony Ferguson wait. We've seen other people wait, and sometimes it doesn't work out for the best. It's a sticky situation with this, the business side of things.
Yeah, definitely. Besides the sticky situation, it is like you need like eight professionals activities that doesn't require a study. Understanding to the level you're competing against. You could be a tough lightweight that could, get to see a few different kicks, and then setting up your whatever combination. Could be the ground. Jiu-jitsu, there's no problem when it's time to come clear. We're talking about a Buchecha, the sport jiu-jitsu guy. He plays some MMA. However, his jiu-jitsu is second to none. It could also be clear about what it means jiu-jitsu. Beside the fact we don't have elbows in jiu-jitsu, we could still hold a great half guard and then elaborate on the difference.
Yeah, I think the closest is like what a combat jiu-jitsu with Eddie Bravo. You can't use elbows, but you can slap people. Have you watched that?
I get to see a lady from Nate Diaz Academy. She was like slapping her adversary in the butt. Uh, she was doing it, and I just only see the clip, and then I couldn't research further down. I couldn't get too deep on her. However, I only see the situation, the dominant situation that she played in her adversary. So, what do you know about the tournaments?
I've
Those
watched I've watched some over the years, a couple years, I think, but I haven't stayed hardcore into it. I'd rather just watch straight up jiu-jitsu, but it's new, it's interesting, but it's funny. I don't know why it's funny because they're not punching each other. They're open hands striking each other in the face. I guess it's kind of like Pancreas from back in the day when Frank Shamrock was in there and Bass Rutten, but there's no kicks though. It's funny, man. It's funny.
she's Brooke, her name. However, she's funny.
No, I
What
mean,
was?
combat jiu-jitsu, Eddie Bravo's combat jiu-jitsu is funny watching to me because you're just not used to seeing people slap each other when they're grappling in the face. It's when I first watched it, I was like, I don't know why this is so funny to me, but it is. But it's great for MMA, teach you how to do jiu-jitsu while getting those strikes in. But damn, getting slapped in the face like that.
It's a different sport. My mindset is similar to Daniel Cormier. Uh, to stay tuned. First of all, stay tuned, and then get ready. Get your running, get your gear, get your exercise, then do the sprawl, then do the high crotch, and then set up the wrestling, and then coming along with jiu-jitsu, and then get ready for competition. Talking about mindset, I'm not talking about a skill set. I'm not talking about Olympics games. I'm talking about states coming along and doing the job. Advanced grappling, that kind of. You can see athletes like Marcelo Garcia even. Marcelo Garcia was competing, doing like you grab a speed back and then you play. You execute. You got the work to do those small exercise for the joint and make sure the circle is straight. What it means talking about like movement.
Yeah, yeah. It was speaking of Daniel Cormier, what's up with him? What's next for him? Has there been any talk?
I believe he's gonna stay broadcasting, doing the. It's hard to compete broadcasting against him. Nothing to take away about Joe Rogan. However, understanding what it means to execute a technique in the octagon is something else. Besides having an amazing way to communicate efficiently in the situation, play by play, that is a different job. It's great to play together when they are working on the microphone.
Yeah, I think having a fighter on the commentary table is always a good thing because Joe Rogan does have 2 black belts in jiu-jitsu and great taekwondo experience, but to actually be in the MMA game and to be in the octagon, have experience with that like DC, and the wrestling background, because I don't know Joe's experience on wrestling, but when you hear DC talk, it's phenomenal. And also Dominic Cruz, his wrestling breakdowns. And another fighter, Paul Fedler, I like him as a commentator, but I think you've got to have a guy that's been in there on the commentary table, in my opinion.
Yeah, staying positive, on a positive note, some great fighters and commentators, they play with the game. However, Fabricio Verdum, he play along with the Spanish. He's the only one I could take my hat off and tip the hat. If some argument come along the table, I understand that he could be the guy. Okay, he is a Brazilian. However, he's Spanish. He always bring his opinion before whatever.
Does he have good breakdowns?
He play by play with some little Mexican kids, and then he's the main guy on the table when it's Spanish time. However, I'm not. I would rather tune in with Cormier and Dominic Cruz.
Okay.
And because of the rule set, I understand how to communicate You know what I mean? Move your head, red. Move your head. You blue, you know, black, whatever in blue. You feel me?
Yeah. Well, I remember when Verdum was fighting Cain Velasquez in Mexico City, and the UFC was really pushing him for the Spanish channels, and I thought that was awesome, to tap into that market because and you can see Verdum just do it. He was on all the Mexican news, like, because they show him sometimes, but I was like, yeah, and he's doing it. That's awesome, especially as a high-level jiu-jitsu Brazilian who normally speaks Portuguese. He also has that Spanish. Well, that's kick-ass. But, well, shit, Juan, excuse my French, but let's move on to the move of the week.
I'll bring it on. Well, to start, you see the red lady. She bring a 2-on-1 grip. She cuffed the shoulder, and then get the snap down. And then after the snap down, she went through with the outside trip to complete a takedown. Then she is setting up a position, a clinch position on the ground. Beside the fact of start a precise control, she could you see her bicep is engaged. Her bicep, the blue lady is engaged because of the forearm getting in on her, on the right arm of the blue lady.
So Juan, the first thing I noticed about the girl in red is that when she puts 2 hands on that arm, her left arm is around her, looks like tricep and bicep, and it never gives up. That control is amazing. Even then she switches arms at the very end. Can you talk a little bit about that detail?
Definitely. According from the reading that I did from Bookie Graham, he explained that the situation happened during the first period. So that's one of the reasons that the execution of the technique was simply perfect. Before I start breaking a sweat is the best moment to apply a wrestling move of that level.
To avoid all the slipperiness with the sweat?
Definitely. I always give 1,000 plus a 9% analyzing this situation and staying real about it. Understanding the technique is very difficult to execute it if we're doing like a different period.
Yeah, just watching this, you can see the steps like in her movement, which is amazing, and how like you have to get each step down, and kind of like when I remember training with you is a lot like that. Each, and a lot of jiu-jitsu and wrestling is like that, where each step really matters. And it kind of reminds me of a math equation. If you with algebra and stuff, you really just follow the steps and you get the whole equation completed with the solution. And that's kind of how I feel about forms of grappling, especially watching this. It's just she's tying all these steps together beautifully, and even wrapping her leg around her leg, it's amazing. But that control on that arm, that girl never has her arm. Her arm is gone from the start to the finish.
I was working at the gym early today. I went to, it was like a Bonnie lady. She was her first time doing wrestling. She stepped in the class. I was doing a half multi and then half wrestling. I didn't want to get too much detail in jiu-jitsu yet. I'm still working on different dates. I'm assuming that we need to start slow. And I even told her name is Albany. And she came through to the class, and I went honest on her. Let her know that her background is great, whatever, the belt system that she have on her mind. It's time to start building up a different foundation. And then she understands that the wrestling aspect is an avenue that needs work to do.
Awesome. Well, hey, big shout out to Bucky Graham. He gave us the Angela Hill Move of the Week video last week, and now we have this awesome one. This is at Skyline College, Juan, or is it?
Hell yeah, man. Oh, for sure. Yeah, he's a Skyline coach, wrestling coach, amazing. He's a little bit overweight. He's not like a built up with athletics. However, his technique is amazing. He's definitely an athlete. He's a little bit overweight, but he is a step over lateral was the one of the greatest techniques I ever seen in the wrestling room. What it means to come down to set up the side and then set up the takedown. Man, great. It was always fun working with the man.
Yeah, and then I'm sorry, I'm watching this video one more time. It's just amazing. It just how she seems. She has a one arm. She hooks her leg, then the leg lets go, and then her arms on the leg, and it's just the girl just she loses two limbs right off the bat, and it's just amazing. I love this video. Great move of the week, Juan, and thank you, Bucky Graham, for sending this to us.
Definitely. I mean, think about it. Let's say those two ladies sign up in jiu-jitsu class. The first thing you need to let her know, she needs to start working on seatbelt grips, and then a rapid triangle up in a leg, and then put the hips in on her, and set up the seatbelt grip, and let her know that the jiu-jitsu work with wrestling together. Set up what it means to have a clear clinch position on the clinch, and start working with defending the arm. What a threat with Kimura. I understand wrestling. They are utilizing the back defense. That's what she's doing. She's utilizing her back defense, and that promotes the jiu-jitsu situation. What it means, jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, a lot of the wrestlers that go into jiu-jitsu class who've never done jiu-jitsu and they start their training, they're already ahead of the pack of the normal people that go in, and you see how fast they accelerate through jiu-jitsu just from having that grappling experience. And as a lot of times they say in MMA, wrestling is the best base. You had to choose one because it's in the middle between striking and submissions. But I've been in many classes where that new wrestler comes in and you maybe get a couple submissions on him and he's super strong and puts his weight on you and you're feeling good, and then you see him 2 months later, he's just moving up very fast.
That's the thing, homie. We need to understand that we play along. Remember, you were my student 10 years ago. We were playing techniques.
Juan, don't say
Jasmine wasn't.
Don't say 10 years.
Jasmine.
Don't remind me.
No, less than that.
That was too long. Oh my God.
Jasmine, I always put her in the middle in everything, and she understands doing the wrestling drill, set up single legs and then moving to the side, see the penetration fact, and then we play along, and then not only you were coming every time, each and every time during the classes, jiu-jitsu classes, you were also understanding the competition aspect was the real deal when we talk about jiu-jitsu. That's why you set up your Gracie Open challenge, and that's the build up of the situation.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that, and it was a great class. I remember you always did have that incorporation of wrestling that you would put in there, and it was awesome because a lot of times jiu-jitsu you start on your knees. And then you go to the tournament and they start standing, and it's like, well, I'm not used to this, especially if you're a white belt, But so I always enjoyed your class of the incorporation of wrestling, which was amazing. But anything else on this video, Juan?
Appreciate it, Jay. Well, I think I have to say that somebody like Sarah McMahon would step in my class at least for 2 weeks. I guarantee she would walk away with a really good winning payday for her.
Hey, I agree with you, Juan. I agree with you. Well, wow. This is, I don't know. Anyways, awesome. Thank you, Bucky Graham. Skyline College out of San Bruno, California. Thank you for this video. Thank you, Cesar, Gracie, Black Belt, Juan Nunez, for this move of the week. Okay. Again, thank you again for that move of the week. Nunez is Gracie Black Belt, doing it every week. Just a reminder, hit that like and subscribe below. and that we drop an episode every Tuesday, and then the move of the week on Fridays. But the move of the week is always in the episode on Tuesday, but just the clips on Friday. And now let's move on to Poirier versus Nate Diaz. We talked about Charles Oliveira already being called out by Nate Diaz, but Nate Diaz also put it forth against Poirier. Now, that being said, when Diaz, he went on the Ariel Helwani show recently and talked about this, but he called Charles Oliveira out and Dustin Poirier, not really called out, but he mentioned those are fights he's interested in. And but not at 155, which both fighters are fighting at now. He wants to do possibly 165 or 170. To me, that's a little confusing but then again, Diaz he's like a McGregor. He could do what he wants, you know? So, what are your thoughts on that? You know, Poirier, he sounded interested in the fight, although he seems more interested in that McGregor 3. I find that a little weird because Conor McGregor never gave Nate Diaz his third shot, you know, especially with the close second fight. I always felt that was messed up. And let's go back before that. It was supposed to be agreed that when McGregor got the Jose Aldo fight, which Jose Aldo being one of the greatest champions at the time, he beat Aldo and no one gave Aldo a rematch. And that was agreed upon before the fight that Aldo was supposed to get a rematch. So it is kind of interesting that Dustin Poirier is like, yeah, I'll give you another rematch. But Dustin Poirier also said we're 1-1 and he wants it. And so McGregor seems to get the rematches, but Jose Aldo Diaz, they don't get the rematch from McGregor. So it seems interesting.
The lightweight division is going to play out somehow. Dustin Poirier, I see he's a mixed martial artist that he is going to walk away from the sport soon. You know, I don't even know if someone is going to take his head off. However, I can see him fighting maybe like 3 more times, and then he's going to, you know, he's going to try to set up the details away with his wife, with the Jiu-Jitsu situation, then play away with his business aside with a great boxing, mixed martial arts, play out well, good or bad work, whatever he's doing. But I don't know, man. He is not like chasing. He's not chasing the belt. He's setting up a management team numbers.
Yeah, it's he kind of, you know, after his fight, he yelled to DC, I think, or yelled to the commentary table, I'm not in love with this fighting this stuff anymore, or something like that. And he kind of elaborated on that in the Ariel Helwani interview where he was like, I love fighting still, but I don't like the business part, like certain aspects of the business. You know, people asking about money and did you get pay-per-view buys and and all the drama. But he does seem like he's kind of giving off, I agree with you, giving off the presence of he's not going to be around much longer. I think if he got the title, if the title happened to come back, which I don't know why the title's not there, that Conor McGregor Poirier fight, why not make that for the title? Maybe the next one will be, because Khabib's just hanging out, but it's not fair to the other guys. But I think if he had that title, he might be retiring already. I really think maybe.
Yeah, maybe like by being a champion for a while, you know, Weili Chan could have the same problem. You know, she's barely understanding the difference in the sport, and then she could climb the ladder. She already set up a statement. She just needs to play along differently and be the better female fighters, and then play along with the business aside, all that aside. However, going back to the lightweights, I always see the prediction, you know, matchmaking and business talk, and then each and every time clear and away. Charles Oliveira could, if let's be real about it. Oliveira taken to the ground is gonna bring jiu-jitsu issues. You know, like it's gonna pass the guard, point for armbars, throw triangles, and the pressure is gonna be relentless. Simple grip at forearm, the shoulder right on Dustin's face, you know, on side control. You know, the palm under the armpit. You know, that's a American Jiu-Jitsu style. However, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu brings some tradition with the Gracie family. Don't try to be too competitive. Just go for a little bit with the reality of what it means to compete against a world-class jiu-jitsu athlete. It's not very common what we see with Rodolfo Vieira. Last week he was submitted and then overcoming odds in jiu-jitsu. It's not see people like Fabricio Verdun, Nate Diaz never submitted in the professional career, you know. So understand the whole career is a different game and a different ball game. And yeah, lightweights always are gonna be the great market beside the strawweights and the female department as well.
Yeah, and then I guess, you know, going kind of a little touching back on what Nate Diaz, Poirier's actual quote is when he was asked what he thought about Nate Diaz fight, Dustin Poirier said, "Does it make sense in the lightweight division? No. Does it make sense where I'm at, standing in the door front of the title shot? No. But it's a fun fight, and this is entertainment, and this is fighting." So kind of you know, like that's kind of the theme of this episode. I feel, Juan, is you got your move up the ranks and get the title, but then you got your DJ Penn, Conor McGregor. A lot of the greats have jumped, you know, done both, jumping weights, getting fights. Diaz has done it, you know, like there's this other route that's like, and let's be honest, when you were a kid on the school ground, because at first I think go ranks, get the title, but because if you get the title, you get pay-per-view buys and your life could change. And that's what we want to see a lot of these fighters. They grinded their way up. I want to see them make some money and retire nice. But it is like when you're a kid, you don't give a crap about rankings. There's no rankings. You want to see this exciting guy fight this exciting guy, you know, whether it's trash talking or whatever. Again, this is martial arts and not the playground, but I do get the argument for going for the title and just being structured. And I also get the argument of, hey, jump weight class, your opportunity is a short window and you need to go for it as much as you can. I think Conor McGregor kind of game planned that out where he just was just jumping all over different weight classes. And, it could be bad long-term for your career, but I think, you know, a lot of these careers are very short. But what do you think, Juan? Does it depend on the fighter, depend on your goals, or should you stick with the title route, or should you just say take exciting fights that the fans want to see?
In all fairness, that was a move. Setting up a statement and writing down a statement to move out of the middle, then start the precise situation of what's next. Definitely I have to tip my hat to it. That was a hell of a move, man. We have to see how it play out. We have a different there is not a hype. Everything is about the undercard. Everything from now on is about the undercard. And then after a couple months, we're gonna see some pay-per-view. We're gonna see definitely different athletes competing for a championship belt, and we can definitely talk about it with a statement and bring out the coach out point of view, definitely a fighter perspective, and could simply just reading play-by-play situation.
Yeah, you know, it's I see what you're saying, but it's you know, it also sucks when, you know, you have this huge victory. You know, Dustin Poirier got this huge victory over Conor McGregor, and then everyone's like, "Who you fighting? Who you fighting? Who you fighting?" Like, it's like, let him enjoy it. What was that, like not even a month ago? I don't know, like 2 weeks ago or something, a month ago. But it's like I get, you know, it's kind of like let the guy enjoy it, but that's the game, that's the business. You get to enjoy your victory for 1 or 2 nights, and they're with the questions. Well, they're with the questions right at the press conference, but.
The issue was like Dustin Poirier, he didn't hold back. He didn't get the first part. He posted in his social media, I believe it was a Twitter or IG, one or the other. Some picture McGregor knocked out against the floor and writing down victorious. Something like that. And before that, then I find out that Conor management team, they post a slow motion video about a precise jab during their second meeting. and then it was like a very slow motion. You can also search on Google, and I'm sure you could see the difference. What I'm talking about. It was a jab, and then Dustin didn't wait, and that's probably. I mean, it could be definitely it plays a different avenue for building a main event with a solid undercard. It could be fun, man. It could be business, and it's gonna be a lot of strategies. I'm sure like their team, they are working on 12 different reasons why they need to play out differently. They find reason to fact their own brand, do whatever they want to do with their foundation, and get some employees working along their side, and then play martial arts, do the systems that work along. You know what's mixed martial arts means. Kickboxing, multi system, boxing system, whatever, Jiu-Jitsu, and then like a step upper lateral. Each and every time work on what it means the martial arts, and definitely it's a great marketing. I mean the third and final match could be a business for them and the sport, and it's only gonna bring out amazing. It's like that we were talking about what's happening in your head when you are doing an uphill bicycle ride. You understand the difference, right? You get everything, all that aside, a small difference of training martial arts, be engaged with the sports.
Yeah, maybe we'll see a light heavyweight card just stacked, just a stacked light heavyweight card. I mean, they could do it if they wanted to. That'd be awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, great, Juan. Well, anything else for this episode number 9 of Under the Radar?
Man, always a truly pleasure to chop it up with you. I'm glad we covered what we need to say about the different news in the mixed martial arts industry. So always a pleasure, man.
Awesome. Always great talking to you. This is Under the Radar MMA, episode number 9. Please hit the like and subscribe below. Give us some love on Instagram. And thanks for listening. Again, Under the Radar MMA, episode number 9. We're out.